Greetings, Neuse Little Pod listeners. This is your host, Matt Gore, reminding you to please like, follow, subscribe, and share the podcast on your available podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and any other podcast app you can think of. Share our episodes on Facebook and let us know what you think with a comment or review. Now, please enjoy the show. Good evening and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. This is an audio program talking about the backstage antics and stories of running a small town community theater on the banks of the Neuse River located in Smithfield, North Carolina. We lovingly refer to the old girl as the Hut. We hope you enjoy. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Neuse Little Podcast. I am your host, Matt Gore. And this evening we have a special show for you. Well, let's be honest, I say that for every show, so that means they're all special. But we have the cast of Til Beth Do Us Part. That is the show currently playing at NLT. And let's see, it'll be coming out in the middle of the week. So it'll be April 15th and April 16th will be the remaining shows that you can come see. And don't forget to reserve your tickets at 919-934-1873. Tickets on reservation are $13 and walk-ups are $15. All right, so let's just jump into it. We got the cast here. I'm excited to, there's some people here I don't know and some people that are old friends. And so I'm excited to talk to you. So let's get started with you. Good evening. What is your name, ma'am?
My name is Bethany Ruffino.
We welcome you to the podcast, Bethany.
Thank you, sir.
And to your left.
Kurt West.
How you doing? I have not met you. It's good to meet you, sir. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
All right, and then we have
Laurie Evans.
All right, yes. Now you guys are doing this abroad comedy by Jones Hope Wooten. So I want to dive into that eventually, but I do want to get some of your backgrounds first. So let's start with you, Bethany. How did you come to be here at Neuse Little Theater? This is not your first show.
It is not, no sir. No sir. I think my first show here was what was it? The Little Murder Never Hurt Anyone.
Was it?
I think that was my first show here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I played Julia. I played the lead, and if memory serves, you were my director.
I was. That was my first show here. That was in 2014. It was a farce about somebody that would try to kill his wife on different holidays throughout the year. It's a farce. It's kind of like broad comedy, very similar to the one you're doing now. But yes, you do have the distinction of being my first leading lady.
Yes, sir.
Very good. You and Jean McLennan were very good on that show. And
all I can think of is Jean McLennan was a leading lady.
Yeah, Jean McLennan. I'll have you know that Jean McLennan is a wonderful leading lady. But yes, and I want to circle back and talk about A Little Murder because we really haven't talked about it a whole lot on the show. But we'll just keep things moving along for now. Now, Mr. Curtis, how did you come here to?
Actually, most recently worked with the show with Gabby there. We just did The Man Who Came to Dinner down at HRT.
Mm-hmm. I saw that show. Yeah, it's very good. I know a couple of people down there at HRT. Is that the only other theater you've done work with?
Yeah, that's the main one. I've been doing that about 15, 20 years down there.
Oh, just down there?
Yeah.
And you finally just, what made you make the trek to Smithfield?
Actually, Abby did.
Yeah. So what's it been like, your first experience at NLT so far?
It's been very good up here. Everybody's really friendly and welcoming there. It's a great little place.
Right. So let's move right along to Laurie. Now, how did you first come to NLT? This is not your first show with us.
That would be Sean Braswell's fault.
Yeah. you and Sean were, whenever I see Laurie, Sean wouldn't be far from behind during the early days. Well, what was that? Why did he drag you down here for?
We were just talking one night, and he said, I've got a play coming up. I think you should come audition for it. And I was like, why not? I don't have anything else to do. And that was 10 shows ago. So
Yeah. Yep. So before we dive into what it's like rehearsing this broad comedy, let's talk a little bit about what it's about first. Just a brief overview. So, Bethany, what character do you play, and what function does she serve in the show?
I play Margot, and I am the divorcee friend of both Susanna and Gibby, the two married people in the movie. And I'm kind of like, okay, so I'm described as the hot one, so confidence boost there. But I'm kind of like, I wouldn't call it the protagonist necessarily, but I'm kind of poking things sometimes and making them happen and little bit of comedy relief because that's where I fit in really well.
Yeah. Wild
Yeah.
card.
Right? Who would have guessed that?
Now, what about you, sir? What about you, sir? Who do you play?
I'm Gibby. So I'm the husband there that's being antagonized by Beth.
Mm-hmm. And then, Laura, you play Beth, right?
I play Susanna.
Okay.
I play the wife.
And you play...
The hardworking, executive, frazzled.
So to hear Abby describe it, your career is kind of on the way up, while your career, Curtis, is kind of on the way down.
That's a good way to look at it,
Yeah,
yes.
and you guys are kind of meeting in the middle, and
Right,
you're not
yes.
dealing with it very well.
Correct.
Right. Now, what's it like working with Abby as a director? We had her on the last for the last episode. What's it like working with her? We can just go in order.
Oh, she's great. She's great. Very communicative. Make sure everybody's comfortable with what they're doing. Making sure we have all the tools we need. So it's been really nice working with Abby.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who was a better first-time director, me or Abby?
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's not fair.
Now, you say you worked with Abby as an actress in Man
Yes,
Who Came to
yes.
Dinner. Who'd you play in Man Who Came to Dinner? Remind me.
I was Mr. Stanley.
Gotcha. Oh, yes, you were. The guy that was very angry that Mr.
Yes,
Whiteside was in
yes.
her house. So let's talk about what's it like working with Abby as a director as opposed to working with her on stage as an actress.
Abby's great to work with there. She's very open. She's very open to suggestions there. She takes collaboration really well there, and she takes all of your input and makes sure that everybody's got what they need to make sure that we're doing a really good show.
Right. And what about you, Laurie?
I've really enjoyed working with Abby. She's very open to whatever feels natural because that's where you're obviously going to gravitate towards anyway. So that's been nice to work with. She's very organized, and we've just had a really good time all together.
Okay. So when it comes to rehearsing this type of piece, there's a lot of broad comedy. There's lots of pacing. Comedy is all about pacing and timing and stuff like that. What are some of the challenges that you have faced doing this play as when it comes to reference comedy and pacing and timing?
A lot of that just depends on really me learning my lines, being off book, and then being able to put that into where I'm supposed to be on stage. So the blocking is like a completely different script that we have to learn for this because it is a comedy and it's very dependent on where people are.
So you're the main character, right? And you have like the brunt of the lines.
Not really. I don't think. I think Gibby does
Okay.
have the brunt of the lines.
What's it like? I know you had to learn a fair amount of lines for Man Who Came to Dinner, but are the lines tripping you up at all?
No, learning lines usually isn't the bigger problem. It's like Laurie was saying, it's the blocking, making sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be at the right time, because the timing is the really big thing for this.
Yeah, walk and talk.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I've worked with you, but I've worked with you on stage before, and I've seen Laurie on stage before, so I know she's a gifted comedian. I work with you, so I know you're gifted as well. Now, you say you have like some more of the juicy comedy moments in this one.
Yeah.
So you're that character. There's like one in every Jones Hope Wouldn't play, the ridiculous character that either comes in a dress or a different costume every time. Is there any type of those shenanigans with you?
Oh yeah, I'm one of the two that kind of like brunts that, carries that weight there in the show. So, but yeah, I get to be ridiculous. I get to be picked up. What? Somebody's gonna pick me up in a play. Yeah, it's pretty funny, and I enjoy it. I enjoy just being ridiculous. Like, totally take my height and make fun of me. I love it.
Yes, I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't take advantage of the height difference between you and Gene.
Yeah.
Gene's quite a tall man, and you are not.
In either case.
In either case, you are neither a man or tall.
Correct.
So, basically, I'm going to go down and I'm going to ask each of you what's your favorite thing about acting and what's your least favorite thing about acting. So think about that. But I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Curtis. What is your favorite thing about acting and what's your least favorite thing about acting?
Wow, that's a good question. I guess the most favorite thing there is just interacting with all of the different people, kind of taking on a different role and getting a chance to kind of express yourself a little bit differently, being a character that you aren't normally in real life. So that's a lot of fun to go ahead and do that. And probably the thing you least like is probably just the amount of sometimes the rehearsal time and things that you have to put into it, the background and stuff. It's a lot of fun to do the performances, but sometimes it's hard to actually get to the show.
It's a commitment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is a commitment for sure. What about you, Laurie?
I've done the serious shows, I've done the dramas, and
Uh-huh.
I've done the comedies. I love the comedies just because it's fun to make people laugh and to hear people out there enjoying what you're giving them. So
Right.
that's my favorite part.
Yeah, you feed off the audience's energy and stuff.
Definitely.
Like that. Oh, and I'm sure that you will have plenty of energy for the audience to feed off of. It always happens with these plays. What about you?
I enjoy being able to be in another world
Uh-huh.
for a little while. I love that. Out of the norm. There's nothing with the news. There's nothing with any political stuff. You're in this world where it's just this box, and you can be in that world for a little while. And like my least favorite part is like when it's over and you kind of mourn your character
Yeah.
as you become so invested in who they are and what they do, and then they're gone in a flash, and
Yeah.
it's like your best friend has passed away and you won't ever see them again.
Yeah. More than likely you won't.
Mm-hmm.
In your head, do they join like another cavalcade of like running characters that you've played?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a box of all my characters, and always have the script and like a set piece or like a costume piece that's in there, kind of lay it in my box. It's
Yeah.
my theater box, so I can go back and visit it on occasion.
Laura, you didn't tell me your least favorite thing.
Probably remembering all the lines. I feel like I repeat myself a lot,
Yeah.
so I get tripped up. But I'm working on that. I've really worked hard on my lines this time. So it's not quite as bad as say Blithe Spirit when I really did say the same thing
Yes.
over and over and
Yes.
over.
I have done a production of Light Spirit, not the one that you did. That was directed by Stephanie Viren. But yes, that play is no, I can say it. I really don't like that. I mean, it's an infuriating play because you do say the same things over and over and over again, and they never shut up.
Talking.
It is a very talky
Very
play.
talky show.
Yes.
Yes.
No Coward in that play. He can spin a verse like no other. He can craft a sentence that is so impeccably witty, but he makes up like the rules for his ghost as he goes along. So, don't get me started on Black Spirit. Moving on. I said I'd circle back and talk about a Little Murder Never Hurt Anybody for a hot minute here. So when we did that play, that was my first time as a director. So in like most first-time directors, I over-prepared probably, and I've worked with everybody. I've worked with everybody again on that play since. Even David. Even Dave was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, David was in the Explorers Club. And sorry, I just hit the table and everything just almost crashed. Thousands of dollars worth of equipment. But when doing that play, did it seem like that working with Gene was a better foil for you? Is that important to you, how you guys play off each other?
Yes, for sure.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I had worked with Gene before. Gene, I hadn't acted in years since like high school, and Christmas Carol, CST was doing it, and I was like, let me go ahead and audition for that. And Gene casted me as Mrs. Cratchit. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm scared to death. I've got this big important role. Then I found out Gene was going to be
that's it.
Bob Cratchit.
That's it. Oh, yeah.
So that's when it all began. I started being cast in that.
That's a CST play. That was at Center Stage Theater in Goldsboro. They do Christmas Carol every year. Until they stopped for a while, and now they're starting to do it again.
Yeah. So it was great being able to work with Gene. That comfortability. The height gag again. Gene is 6-something, and I'm 4'9", so that was hilarious.
You guys kept wanting me to do this bit where you kiss. He was your husband in the play, so I think at one point you had to kiss him goodnight or something, and you kept wanting me to like bring out a stool so you could climb it up, but I'm glad I didn't because there was nowhere to hide the stool,
Right.
and if we did the gag, it would just be about that gag and stop everything else. All the momentum is for that gag. I remember that implicitly. But I do remember the set for that play was immaculate because Anita did this kind of like a wood paneling, but it was paint.
And everybody thought it was real. And after the show was over, everybody kept going up and touching the
the
stave.
set to see if it was real wood paneling.
Right, it was beautiful.
Yeah, Anita outdid herself. I'm going to have her on the podcast very soon. I talked to her. I finally wore her down, and she's going to come and talk about painting adventures because we couldn't do it without her. She's a very talented set designer, set painter. Has a really great eye for furniture and stuff like that, set pieces. All right. So coming in here fresh, Curtis, this is your first experience with NLT. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
What is this like as opposed to working with HRT down there in Dunn?
This very good experience up here. There, again, everybody's been very welcoming. It's nice to come in here. As far as that goes, it's a little bit smaller stage in going on in here. There, the overall facility is a little bit smaller than I'm kind of used to as far as that goes there. But it's been a great experience. Definitely, we looking to come back.
Well, we hope you do. We love new people here at NLT, and I was just thinking about it. It's a great spot for new people. It really is. And now that I'm actually thinking about it, this is our 4th show out of 5 of the season, and all but one have had a brand new leading man that we haven't seen on our stage before. You, the boy who played Pony Boy, I know, I forget his name. Wesley. And I forgot. Randy, I almost forgot Randy's name in Explorers Club. Tony was the leading man in Never Too Late, but he hadn't acted in something like 10 years on our stage before that, so he's kind of new too. So I think that's a testament to say we're very open to new people, and if you have what it takes and have the experience, and even if you don't have the experience, we've had brand new freaking people that have been lead actors in the show, so that have never
experience. Who's got experience?
Right.
But we appreciate that. We appreciate you
it's been a
coming
great
down.
experience.
So, Laurie, what's made this? When you think about this show? And I know you haven't really, when we're recording this, you haven't performed it yet. The schedule was kind of wonky with this one. But when you're rehearsing this show, I guess I should say, what do you think is the one message that people are going to take away from it?
Just value your relationships that you have with your spouse, because it could change
Right.
if you're, due to circumstances. But hopefully, the strength of that relationship is where it needs to be, and like Gibby and Susanna in this play. So
Yeah.
Basically, I was going to say this is my 4th, I think, Jones Hope Wooten show that I've done.
What's the
So
other 3 you done? Put you
I
on the
did
spot.
Dixie Swim Club at Holly Springs.
Yes, now known as Sweet Delilah Swim Club.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And then I did Red Velvet Cake War with Mita here. And then Always a Bridesmaid with Sean here.
And I was in that as well with you.
Yeah.
Yes, the aforementioned Always a Bridesmaid. We talked about that a bit. That was a good show. Laurie, what are some other shows that you've done here in the past? That you've mentioned you've done Blythe Spirit and some other Jones Hope Wooten, but were you in Veronica's room? No, that wasn't you. I'm sorry. You were in one dark one that struck me. What was that one?
I did Dial In for Murder, and I also did Early One Evening at the Rainbow Bar.
It was Dial In for Murder because you had that great scene, great quote unquote, because you got strangled. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. I've always liked Dial In for Murder, and Sean directed that, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I got to commit murder, 6 times on stage? It was
Yeah.
fun. That was a hard. That was very script heavy. You were talking about that earlier. I had to learn a lot of lines with that and keep the British accent going through the whole thing. So that was interesting. And then the movements had to be really choreographed for that, because I think we screwed it up one night and he couldn't. I didn't even have a murder weapon in my hand, but I still killed him. It was a miracle. So yeah, that was a hard.
Don't worry, lighting will take care of that.
Yeah, right.
It was in the dark. That's all good.
And he was very good about it. So
Yeah, it's Dial In for Murder by Patrick Hamilton. I directed another one of his scripts, Wait Until Dark. He's known for those Hitchcockian type thrillers. Now, what are some other shows that you've been in here, Bethany, that you've done here that have left a mark, as it were?
I did Always Bridesmaid with Laurie.
Why was that special?
That was a great show. That was a really great show. That was special. That was a cast of all women, and we had a good old time. And I played a little old lady. Go figure. And Sean directed that, and that was cool. One of my favorite things of that picture is the picture of us afterwards. You remember all of us bridesmaids?
yeah, I still have it up in my office.
Right. I still have it too. And it was Nicole dressed as the bride and Sean as the director, and they actually ended up getting married.
They sure did.
They did. Got 2 little ones.
Yes, that seems like not that long ago.
Right? It doesn't.
And now
it
they
doesn't.
have 2 children that are growing more and more every day.
Right. So I did that, and then I was in Auntie Mame.
Auntie Mame.
Auntie Mame.
Now, Auntie Mame is a show we've mentioned Auntie Mame, but that is a very large show with a wide range of cast of characters, and poor Leanne had 83 costume changes. That was a interesting show. I felt certain aspects of it were a tad dated, but for the most part, it works. But you played part of a couple.
Mrs. Upton.
Yeah, Mrs. Upton, yes.
Top drawer. Really top drawer.
What were you trying to get her to, Auntie Mame to do? You were trying to convince her to do something.
I was trying to get her to build their house, put in money for the house for Patrick and the daughter right up next to my yard.
Okay.
I was trying to get take over everything.
Yeah, you were trying to swindle her out of and she was barely paying attention.
Right.
To your schemes.
Right, and get her to eat that peanut butter and tuna fish canapes. Right on. With a little bit of clam juice. I remember that.
Wow, I do not remember that. Is that the hors d'oeuvres you served her?
At my house. Mm-hmm. All through a food grinder.
Upton Downs.
The Upton Downs.
Downs.
I remember those hors d'oeuvres.
Yes.
Curtis, what are some other shows that what are some other highlights on your resume, as it were, sir? Since we don't know.
Well, let's see. One of the more recent ones there, we did Oliver not that long ago. It was Bill Sykes in that one.
I saw that one as well. Did Leanne Bernard direct that one?
She did.
Yeah, that was the same one I saw. Yes.
Yeah, I've worked with Leanne before in a couple of different shows there, so
yeah.
she's a great one to work with too.
Yep.
'Twas the Night Before Christmas was a lot of fun to go ahead and do. It was a Ken Ludwig show.
I love Ken Ludwig. I haven't heard of this one though.
Yeah, that's a really good show. It's not a very large cast there, but there's some really good characters in there as far as that goes. We get to do a little swashbuckling with some swords and have a lot of fun dancing around doing stuff like that. So that was a lot of good fun to do that show. To Kill a Mockingbird there was a good one.
Yeah, we've talked To Kill a Mockingbird to death on this show, so we don't need to revamp. But I do want to mention that the script, the new version of the script by Aaron Sorkin is going to be available soon. I think that's a better adaptation. One day I hope we get a chance to take a crack at it.
Don't get me started on that.
Why? Here, no, please.
I would like to read it before I make an opinion.
Okay.
But I have a real hard time with that because of the way they handled the situation.
What situation?
When they decided that they were going to yank everybody's royalties from the old version.
Yeah.
That pissed me off.
Why? Because, I mean, that sucks, but why specifically did it piss you off?
Just because it was just I think it was kind of a shitty thing to do. I mean, it was just one of those things that you had high school kids who had rehearsed, because they don't do 6 weeks, they do a semester.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been rehearsing this, and they were a week out, and they said, nope, can't do it, sorry.
That sucks.
Yep.
That sucks.
And they wouldn't.
Come on, let them do it.
And Dramatic Publishing won that lawsuit, so they get to keep doing that script.
Dramatic Publishing is a very litigious company that they've overtaken Samuel French and all the script companies.
No. It was Alan Arkin that sued.
Aaron Sorkin?
Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
He's the one that sued them to keep them from being able to do the rights to it.
Aaron Sorkin is a well-known writer of The West Wing, and most recently he wrote and directed Being the Ricardos with Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem. He's the walk and talk guy. He's the guy with flowery dialogue, lots of monologues and that type of thing. A lot of times it works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, that was Movie Corner. I have to insert at least a minute of it every episode. So now, what is your initial when you get your script, Bethany? What is your initial process? What do you do when you're starting a new show?
When I'm starting a new show, I mark all my lines.
Okay.
That's the first thing I do.
Do you have any specific method for learning your lines?
The more I speak them, the more I remember them. So I'm one of those, the more I rehearse it, the more I'm going to remember the lines. So I always struggle when I'm first off book a lot until we start doing the show more and more and I'm repeating the lines and then they stick in my head. So I have a little recorder I use. I've got TJ helping me with lines. So just the more I speak them, I can sit there and stare at them all day long, but if I'm not interacting I can't commit them to memory.
Gotcha. Do you have a specific method, Laurie?
Like Bethany said, I highlight my lines, and then I have it really helps to have somebody in the house to practice with me. My fiance's really helped me out a lot with that. He's run lines endlessly with me to try to help him get the script in my brain. So.
Yeah. And we talked that you said earlier that learning lines for you, Curtis, wasn't so big of a challenge.
Yeah, I start off with highlighting my lines as well there, but then I just basically start off with the first chunk, and I just kind of memorize that one, and I just keep building on it. So I make sure that I've got each successive line down, and then just kind of keep building on it, and I just work my way through the whole play.
He was off book a week early.
Yeah, he was.
Show off.
Even so, before then,
There's
yeah.
always one.
Yeah.
Oh, him.
No,
him,
it's important.
Him and Rick both. I was all like, oh, I feel like a bad human being
No,
right
no,
now.
that's why that's important for that person to step up. No, I'm on your guys' side. Every show needs that one person to get off book early, so it'll kick other people in the butt to go ahead and do it.
Right.
So when we're recording this on March 30th. So you guys are 10 days from an audience, I think. 9-10 days, something like that. How do you feel as of right now? When people hear this, you'll have 3, counting preview 4, shows under your belt and feel probably different. But how do you feel as of right now sitting in this room?
I feel pretty good. I feel I know most of it, and there's like 2 chunks, and you know the one chunk that I struggle with.
Yep.
But there's one. It's like,
Well, tell us a little bit about it without giving anything away.
I have to do movements, choreographed movements with the words. So it's my brain's like, hey, you're either speaking the right words or you're doing the right steps. We are not on the same page. You're not doing this. You're not doing it together. So we've been working really hard on that. So it's getting better.
I'm right there with you on that, though.
Right? Like, you want me to do what and speak at the same time?
What is it, dancing?
Yes.
Yeah. Abby mentioned a dancing scene.
Yeah. But it's getting better. It's getting better. So yeah. But I'll get there. I always do.
I guess that this would be a good point to talk about your other castmates. Now, I haven't had you guys on the show, but Rick and Joyce have been on the show. Is there someone I'm forgetting besides those other 2?
Lizzie.
Liz.
is playing
right.
Beth.
Okay, so tell us about Lizzie here. I don't know her, I don't think.
She's a wonderful actress.
Yeah, she's doing really good.
Yeah, she's very. When she auditioned, I remember she did the British accent really well. And
I'm
she's
sorry,
got
Liz. I only had 3 mics.
the southern accent is down. She has that.
Oh yes.
Is she a
Online.
newcomer?
I don't think she's a newcomer to theater, but I
This
don't
is
think
her first
she's
show
been.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing her on stage. That means we got 2 brand new people in this show that have never been on stage before. And I had Rick and Joyce on, but what's it like working with them on this show?
Oh, Joyce is always a delight.
Uh-huh.
I just love her to death. She's so sweet. And Rick, I've never worked with Rick before. Rick
This
is
is-
funny.
Yes, Rick is funnier than he thinks. He has good deadpan humor.
He is. Like last night we were doing pictures. I was like, seriously? Okay, all right, whatever. Like, you're going there? Dang it. Wish I had thought to go there.
I know. Yeah, see, you always hate it when somebody has a better idea.
Right.
Now, what characters do they play?
Rick is Hank, my ex-husband,
Uh-huh.
and Lizzie is she's playing Beth.
Okay. So,
And Joyce is Celia Carmichael, my
Yep.
boss.
your boss.
In London.
Gotcha. Does she have a British accent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Now, what is Beth's function? The play is called Til Beth Do Us Part. What is Beth's function in the play?
She is my personal assistant and
And troublemaker.
resident troublemaker for Gibby. Yeah.
So is she just like this person that comes in and like a hurricane and messes everything up, or is she just implanting ideas?
Well, she
in her head?
gets my work organized, but she kind of throws my personal life off the deep end. So,
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she definitely stirs up trouble.
She whips the household into shape, which throws him off.
Yep.
So, you're losing control.
I have no control.
Yeah. So is your character kind of like forceful in a way, or is he kind of a pushover?
He's actually very laid back and really kind of neglectful, which is what gets into the trouble in the first place. There, he's kind of self-absorbed and really is not putting in the effort he needs to, which is where trouble kind of comes into play.
Okay. What do you hope that the audience, besides, yes, laughter and joy, we get that. But besides that, what do you hope the audience takes home with them when they come see Til Beth Do Us Part, opening April 8th?
I hope that they learn kind of like what Laurie had said earlier, that relationships are important. You know, if you don't take care of them and you neglect them, you'll lose them.
Mm-hmm.
So your loved ones are your loved ones for a reason.
Yes. Yes. Don't take your loved ones for granted, I guess.
Yes.
What about you, sir? Is there a particular theme you're gleaming from this? I know with Joan So Putin, the truth and what we're trying to say with this piece is not always at the forefront. Usually it's just, get in the jokes, make them happy. But
No, I think that they both echoed it. It really is. You just got to put the work in to go ahead and make sure that you can appreciate what you have, because otherwise you won't know until it's gone what you had, and then it's hard to get it back.
you basically said that earlier, Laurie. And so I'm going to ask you one final question and we'll wrap it up. Okay? So, starting with Bethany, if you had to choose one play on your bucket list to do, what would it be? I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Please do.
Yeah, I think about that too.
Go ahead, Laurie.
I'm ready. It's always been Noises Off.
Why?
I know it would be a nightmare to stage,
Yeah.
but I just think it's so funny.
I want to do Noises Off too, and I think we've done more complicated plays here. It's an older script. Sean really wants to do it too, so I guess you guys have had discussions about this.
Yeah. We've been talking about it for years now.
It's basically about a community theater putting on a show and everything goes bad behind the stage. There's another good show like that a lot of community theaters are doing. It's called The Play That Goes Wrong.
I wouldn't say a lot of community theaters.
It's popping up more and more.
Yeah.
It is in people's seasons, because I thought it wouldn't be, because they have a second floor that has to collapse, and I'm wondering how to do that. But it is.
I think Noises Off might be less technically difficult than The Play That Goes Wrong.
Which is saying something, because Noises Off would be.
Yeah, there's like a wall that collapses or something along those lines.
Well, just the timing.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and I'm sure Sean wants to play the stage manager, right, or something.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a great
I
role.
think Tony did that at
He did.
Theater in the Park.
He
So
did.
With Noises Off, you have to have a set that you can spin,
Well, we have that, kind of.
because you have to see the back side of the set.
for the second half.
We've
for the
done it
second
before.
act.
All right, going back to you, Bethany.
I would like to do Auntie Mame again.
Okay, would you like to, in what part?
I always wanted to play Mame.
Yeah.
Always wanted to play Mame or Gooch.
Gooch. Old Gooch.
yes.
Patsy played that.
Right. Yeah.
An unfortunate name.
I liked that character,
For an
but
unfortunate woman.
I would have.
The character she played, not Patsy. Patsy's lovely. She's your assistant director on this play.
Yes.
How's it like working with her?
Lovely.
Yeah, she's doing good.
She does a great job.
She's choreographing
Listen,
our.
I'm trying here, but I'm sorry. There's just no dirt. I can't squeeze any. I can't
No.
squeeze any dirt out of
Well,
this
there
cast.
was this one time. No, I'm kidding.
Come on, sweet. What about you, sir? Is there like one part in particular that
I
you
can't
really
think
like?
of a specific one there, but pretty much anything that Ken Ludwig does.
Yeah.
I really like his type of shows. They're a lot of fun to go ahead and do those.
Yeah, we've done several Ken Ludwig pieces here. We've done Lend Me a Tenor. We've done Moon Over Buffalo. I love Moon Over Buffalo. Moon Over Buffalo is really funny, and his career kind of veered off into like adapting big literature.
Right.
And comedy, like he'll take classic pieces of literature like Sherlock Holmes or Three Musketeers, and then make a comedy version of it. And there's a really good version of Three Musketeers. It's a great script besides the ending. Ending's bad, but it's really great meld of his style of humor and the Three Musketeers. There's also Homes for the Holidays, which is a really good one. Murder on the Orient Express. I could go on and on about Ken Ludwig. I do enjoy me some Ken Ludwig and some classic farce. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up there, folks. Go see Til Beth Do Us Part. They've been, by the time you hear this, they would have been up for a week. So your opportunities to go see it will be Friday, April 15th at 8 o'clock, and Saturday, April 16th at 8 o'clock. That's up right now. And remember to call and reserve. It's always easier to call and reserve. Yes, I'm talking to you, millennials and Zoomers. You can actually pick up the phone and leave a voicemail. Believe it or not, sometimes it's a challenge for myself, but I promise you it'll be okay.
Cash and check.
Cash and check only, no credit cards.
That's going to make their head explode.
I know. I'm not saying they're wrong. But there's a little bird that told me that perhaps down the road might be changing. We might actually enter the 21st century and accept credit cards. I know. All right, guys.
Any parting words?
Parting words.
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
thanks a
yeah.
lot. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
This was great. I always love seeing you, Matt.
Yep.
I always love seeing you, man. I've worked with you as a co-actor. I've worked with you as you as my director. So you're always a blast to work with. So anything you're doing, I'm usually like, oh, is Matt in that? Oh.
Well, God dang it! I hit the table again.
She's on the podcast. Why is she kissing your ass?
I don't know, man. It's nice. It's nice, isn't it, man? It's nice. Is it the worst thing in the world for somebody to have something nice to say about me? Thanks, Bethany, and thank you guys for being on the podcast. It means a lot. I know. This ain't going out to hundreds of thousands of people, but those core listeners that do get it, they do appreciate it. We do have people that do listen every week, and so we appreciate you taking your time to come out and do this. So break a leg, and we'll see you. And I think you guys got a good show on your hands. It seems like you guys got a lot of support and everything you need. So all you guys got to do is just get up there and knock it out of the park. And I have no doubt that you will. All right, for Neuse Little Podcast, I am Matt Gore, and that is my producer, Toole. She's doing the wave thing. She's talked this whole time, but can't talk at the very last minute.
Bye.
There you go. All right, we'll see you later, gang. Bye. Credits for the show. Your host and creator is Matt Gore. That's me. My producer and editor is Toole.
That's me.
Music is by Cody Walker. Please go look up Cody on Cody Walker Music on YouTube, and he's also on Cody Walker Music on Facebook as well. He's local, so and he's got a couple of albums out. Easy listening, John Denver type of guitar voice. That Cody Walker. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.